since I soloed in 1971.
Wow.
So, 40 years, actually, since my first solo. I was 18 years old then.
Cool. When did you first start taking flying lessons?
Well, I was in the Civil Air Patrol, which is a organization of young people that are interested in flying and kind of in the military.
Gotcha.
And I got a scholarship to solo through that organization.
Cool.
So I got instruction. That was that summer that I turned 18, just after I finished high school before I went to college.
Cool. Did you train almost every day?
Yeah. And it only took about a week to solo because I flew every day.
Wow.
And if you do it real concentrated, you can actually learn faster because you don't forget between lessons.
Yep.
But then I didn't fly again for about a year. I went to college.
Yep.
And I saved my money, and then the next year in college I started training again.
Cool.
And I got my license in my sophomore year of college.
Cool.
And it took about 4 or 5 hours to solo again, just because I hadn't flown for a year because I'd forgotten it.
How often do you have to fly in order to solo? Or is it like a law that you have to have a certain amount of instruction before you solo?
There's very strict requirements to solo. You have to reach a certain proficiency in takeoffs and landings and emergencies and various things.
Gotcha.
And then you also have to have a certain amount of knowledge. You have to take a written test before you can solo. Gotcha. And you need a student pilot certificate.
Yep. When did you first start thinking about taking flying lessons?
I never did decide to learn to fly. It was more like it was a given since I could think. Because both my parents are pilots.
Gotcha.
And
so it's kind of like an instinct.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, I feel like I do have good instincts for it, but it's like I was born into it, you could say. And I love it. I mean, I wouldn't have learned. My mom, obviously hoped I learned to fly. Keep going with the family trend, but she wouldn't have had me do it if I didn't really want to. But I really do want to. I really love flying. It's just, well, you guys just flew. You could probably imagine.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm looking up there now, and it's like, oh, I really want to fly this thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so your dad was in the Air Force?
He was in the Air Force for a while, and he took me and my brother up when I was about 5 years old in a little two-seat plane.
Cool.
And that might have set the thought process.
Yeah.
But then when I was in high school, the high school had a program to try different career options, and they gave a little 3-hour ground school and an introductory flight, just like these Young Eagle flights. Cool. And I thought that was so cool, and I wanted to do that. That's what I wanted to do. But
so did you first get involved with this Young Eagles program? Or
no, the Young Eagles program is fairly new. It's been around about 10 years or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so the goal of it.
So do most of these guys just spend their days here, or?
Yeah, most of these guys, well, the big thing about this is a Young Eagles event. It's a big event where they teach people, where they have people come out and bring their airplanes and take people for flights. The whole goal is, something about the aviation community is it's mostly older guys. Like, you'll notice most of these pilots are older guys, and they're trying to get younger people interested. So they're having these things where they take kids flying to try to get them. And then there's a flight schools are offering incentives for kids to learn to fly. And, it's like everything when it comes to aviation, especially general aviation, which means small planes like this one. They're trying to get more kids involved, more young people, because it's mostly an older demographic that's pilots these days.
About flying like a corporate jet, like an airline for a living?
Well, I always imagined that I'd be an airline pilot, but I never did do that.
Yeah.
What I
was
did
that sort of a dream of yours?
It was. Yeah. But what I did do instead is I joined the Air Force.
Cool. Oh.
Myself, after I graduated college, and after a few years went by, they let women be pilots. So I went to Air Force pilot training. Cool. And I was a military pilot for 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
And even longer than that in the reserves.
Cool.
And then I thought I'd go be an airline pilot, but I didn't.
That never turned out?
I instead went to work for NASA.
Oh,
Space
wow.
Agency down in Texas.
Cool.
and the best flying job in the world. Cool.
Is that the one where you did the zero gravity?
Flew a zero gravity plane. I flew the T-38 trainers with the astronauts.
That is amazing.
It was just best job in the world.
Yeah,
really good job.
What kind of training did you have to go through to do the zero gravity plane?
I hadn't flown that kind of plane before, so I had to get checked out in it, and I was a co-pilot for a long time. And then after 10 years or so, I got to move to the left seat and be the captain doing parabolas. Cool. And the checkout wasn't that long, a couple weeks, maybe 3-4 weeks, but not even all steady. Because once you know how to fly one big airplane, it's not that hard to fly another big airplane.
Did you interact with the astronauts much?
Yeah, all the time.
Cool.
My career's been a little different from a lot of pilots.
Yes.
Most pilots these days will go to, say, an aviation school like Metro State or something, and they'll get an aviation management degree, and they'll work on their pilot ratings. They'll get their private pilot and their commercial pilot and their instrument rating and maybe their instructor rating. Become an instructor and instruct for a while. Then they have enough hours and they can maybe get on with a small airline like American Eagle or Great Lakes. They do that for a few years, and then they have enough hours to be an airline pilot. But that whole process costs hundreds of thousands of dollars and takes years. If you like the military and want to do that, you don't have to pay for any of it. But you have to like the military, or I wouldn't recommend it. But Bradley, he'll never do military. He has no interest in it. It's not for everybody, but it was for me. I like it. It was a good career.
Everyone has their opinions about what they want to do.
So those are the two main routes you can go to become a professional pilot. One is to go be a military pilot, and then the other is to, pay money for all your ratings and work your way up and then become an airline pilot that way. And it all depends on